Hello, welcome to Kathaayaana. This is Trotting, where every Saturday I share a story with you from different countries around the world. The countries that I choose will be in alphabetic order A to Z. Today's story is coming from a country beginning with the letter E, and it is obviously Egypt. The first thing that comes to everybody's mind when you hear the word Egypt is probably mummies. Now, why were these mummies created? Ancient Egyptians believed that the human beings were an important aspect of the creation of gods and that the individual soul is as eternal as the gods they worshipped. And so, death was not an end to life, but it's the rejoining of the individual soul with the eternal realm from where it had come. And in that regard, these ancient Egyptians believed that Kath, or the physical body, and Ka, the soul, were created at the same time. And so, Ka, the soul, would be unable to travel to the eternal realm if it lacked the Kath, or the physical body, back here on earth. And so, ancient Egyptians were so obsessed by life and its continuation that they created mummies. Now, to know the story of mummification, mummies, and their afterlife, how about visiting an ancient tomb in Egypt? Who is this? This is Anubis, the god of mummification. Ancient Egyptians worshipped him as the lord of the afterlife. Anubis was always depicted this way as a dark canine, a muscular man with the head of a jackal and pointed ears. His dark color symbolized the decay of the body, as well as the fertile soil of the Nile River Valley, which represented regeneration and life. He was the protector of the dead who made sure they received their due rites in burial and stood by them in the afterlife to assist their resurrection. Now, what was the process of mummification that Anubis invented and the story of afterlife? Let's go further. Oh, this is the mummy of Hunefer, a priest who belonged to ancient Egypt. When Hunefer died, other priests removed all the organs from his body except the heart. The physical heart was always left in the body of the corpse, as it was believed that the heart was the seat of one's character, one's personality, intellect, and emotions, and that this heart would need to be surrendered to the gods in the afterlife. So once all the organs were removed from the body of Hunefer, his body was now stuffed with a complex salt called natron, which is made up of sodium carbonate dehydrate, sodium bicarbonate, sodium chloride, and sodium sulfate. And then his body was wrapped in a resin-soaked linen. And this was a 2-month-long process. Once Hunefer's mummy was ready, his book of the dead was kept beside him, and this was buried in his tomb. The Book of the Dead is a collection of spells which enables the soul to navigate the afterlife. It was to instruct the deceased on how to overcome the dangers of the afterlife, to provide with foreknowledge of what would be expected at every stage. Now, equipped with this Book of the Dead, Hunefer's soul was now ready, all set for its journey to Duat, or the underworld, the realm after death. But this passage is not easy. It consists of a lot of obstacles and dangers, like lakes of fire, large, deep caves, magical gates guarded by ferocious monsters and demons, and animals like snakes and crocodiles. But what was this Book of the Dead for? It provided all the codes, passwords, and prayers necessary to traverse these obstacles and gain admission into Duat, or the underworld. Now, once in the underworld, Hunefer's soul stands at the Hall of Truth in front of 42 assessor gods who are the judges. Now, what does Hunefer's soul has to do here? Hunefer's soul has to address each of these 42 gods by their names and declare a sin that he never committed. Meaning, he has to declare one sin to each of these 42 gods. This was called as the negative confession. So, what was this negative confession like? For example, Hail, Fenty, I have not stolen. Hail, Neba, I have not uttered lies. Hail, Haraf, I have made none to weep. Hail, Sechwiryu, I have not pried into others' matters. These and other kind of sins that he has never committed, he has to declare. Now, once these judges are convinced that Hunefer had led a virtuous life, he is adjudged innocent of wrongdoing. And once that is done, the Lord of Afterlife, Anubis, escorts Hunefer's soul down to the final stage of judgment and brings him in front of Osiris, the Lord of the underworld, who sits on a throne, carries the symbols of Egypt. In front of his throne is a fully blossomed, beautiful lotus that is the symbol of eternal life. And the platform on which his throne stands represents natron, that complex salt which was used to stuff the body of the mummy. Now, what happens here and in the final judgment is the weighing of the heart on the golden scale. Now, before that, now who is this creature? What is this creature? This is a monster goddess by name Amut, who has the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and hind portion of a hippopotamus. Okay, now what happens at the weighing of the heart? Anubis, the lord of afterlife, places Hunefer's heart at one scale, and at the other scale, he places a white ostrich feather. Now, this feather belongs to Goddess Maat. Goddess Maat's idol is put up here at the top of the balance. This Goddess Maat, is the goddess of harmony, truth, justice, and balance. Now, what happens here in this weighing is this. If the heart of Hunefer weighs more than the feather, the heart is thrown to monster Amut, who devours it. And in that process, Hunefer's soul will cease to exist. But fortunately for Hunefer, his heart weighs lighter than the feather. And so Osiris gives him the final approval to enter the afterlife. Now, the paradise of afterlife was called Aaru, or the field of reeds. This was an idealized vision of one's life on earth. Here, Hunefer meets his deceased parents, his loved ones, and even his beloved pets. In other words, field of reeds is an image of the home that he had on earth, with the same exact plot of land, same trees, same birds that sang morning and evening. And all of this could be enjoyed now here for eternity in the presence of gods. And that too with no sadness, no anger, no pain, or even any threat of death. If you like this story, do give us a thumbs up and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Share this video with people who you think might be interested in watching. This is Lakshmi. I will see you next Saturday with a story from a country beginning with the letter F.